Bishop Stephen, thank you so much for staying with us. Just before we talk security for a moment, what is your position about this issue of NIN registration and some of the controversies it is generating at the moment?
For me, the NI is necessary, but the way we are going about it is not acceptable. There are security numbers in any country all over the world, or most countries, let me put it that way. But the way they do it is not the way we are doing it here. Why do you need to put people under pressure, under suffering, under unnecessary hazard before you want to link up their NIN with their mobile number or whatever you want to link it with? It should have been something done seamlessly, and everybody will have it, and you do whatever you want to do. But listening to the Honorable Minister threatening Nigerians, telling us an offense to eat, it's an offense to cook, it's an offense to go to market without whatever, that will not hold in Nigeria. You can say anything, but if it is not done properly, if you don't provide the avenue for people to register properly, how many people do you want to put in jail? The ones you have, the place is already crowded. So what we are saying is go and do what is expected of your government. Make sure you are better organized and stop putting Nigerians under pressure and stop punishing Nigerians. People don't have work, they don't have anything to do, but go to where they do this, all the centers. Come and see crowd, and you talk of coronavirus. Are they not spreading coronavirus where they gather every day? The government need to sit down and re-strategize and ask for people who can assist them. I think they are overwhelmed. And what is happening in our nation should have happened in the 60s, not in the 21st century that we are. It is unacceptable. And the threat coming from his Honorable Minister, he should keep that in his pocket and stop embarrassing and harassing us in our nation.
Now saying that this should have probably been done in the 60s, there are people, there are those who think that maybe our colonial masters left us too early. When they look at South Africa, how developed South Africa is, they think that maybe our colonial masters left us too early. Do you think they should have stayed back to fix some things before leaving?
No, I would not agree with that. South Africa paid for it dearly. We supported South Africa to get out of the apartheid, so we should not even go to that. What we should face is the mentality, the mindset of leaders in Nigeria. There is no other thing that the Lord has not given to us except good leaders. If we have leaders like Obafemi,
has the Lord given us good leaders?
Yes, Obafemi Awolowo, Nnamdi Azikiwe,
they are late.
Balewa.
All the names you're mentioning, they are late at the moment.
That's what I'm saying. During their time, they delivered. All the regions were developing. If I don't know any other region, I know the one in the West. And I knew what Awolowo and his team did. They were able to provide many things that we still enjoy till today. But come to think of it, the government we have for now, what have they done? 4 years we rolled by and nothing to show for it. And you still come back to tell us you will do it. When? Give us more time. So until I die, then I give you time. What about my own children? They are graduating now. There's no job for them. So when will it happen? So that's the question. So if we sit down and do what we're expected to do, sacrifice for goodness sake. I don't pray to be in State House. I'm not called out for that. I'm a bishop, I'm a pastor. But people in State House must deliver. People in security must deliver. That is what we are saying.
All right, well, since you've mentioned security, we'll come back and talk about the Southwest issue. But security now, 8 members of the RCCG were kidnapped in Kaduna more than 1 week now. Before then, 39 students were kidnapped from a particular school, mechanization, forestry school in Kaduna as well. There have been a myriad of kidnappings across many parts of the country. As we speak right now, we understand that even in Cross River State, the NLC chairman was kidnapped for the second time about 2 weeks ago or thereabouts. Kidnapping is here and there, but what is the position of the church as regards what is playing out in the country in terms of insecurity?
It's part of my Easter message. The security apparatus in Nigeria has collapsed, unless we are deceiving ourselves. If kidnappers could attempt to go after executive governors of states, then we're in trouble. If they can ask kings to come to their base in the forest, and those people go, that is what the governor of Zamfara was telling us yesterday, that they have spent over 900 million to settle kidnappers in their state. And the routes that they have has been established. He said they have more than 400 and something routes to where they operate in a state. And that has spread to other states. Already we have them in the southwest. But we must not forget something. The problem of climate change is affecting what we are witnessing in Nigeria today. A lot of people, the Fulanis, are moving from other areas to our land because there is no water anymore. It is a struggle for survival. But the problem we now have is that the Fulani that have been living with us since I was born, since you were born, who are harmless, who are friendly to the society. I go to farm when I was younger. No Fulani harass anybody. Their cattle don't even near our crops. But we meet them on the way, they go their own way. The only thing you find with them is a rod and the small kettle for water. But now they have turned to killers.
Why?
Because other Fulani have infiltrated to their midst and they accepted them, they accommodated them. So they are partners in progress. And that is why we are saying we cannot continue like that. The Fulani that we know before are not the ones operating now, but they have joined hands with them. Until we separate them, we will classify them as terrorists, all of them.
Because that's not what Islamic cleric Sheikh Gumi, the popular Sheikh Gumi, that's not what he believes. He believes that we should negotiate with them, we should reintegrate them into the society. Is that the position you share as well?
With due respect, we disagree totally with Sheikh Gumi on that. How can you negotiate with criminals? How can you negotiate with killers? If they have adopted his children before, he will never come out to say that. If he has paid ransom on his own child or raped his own daughter, he will not say that to anybody. These people are heartless, killing people, bringing their intestine out, killing pregnant women. And you say you should negotiate with such wicked human beings? How can you negotiate with them? Their mindset is barbaric. They don't belong to this society.
But Sheikh argues that these people are products of this society.
That is not correct. That is not correct. We have northerners, we interact with them. I'm a member of NIREC at the national level. I meet regularly with the Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence, Abubakar Sahel. And when you listen to him, when you listen to other Muslim leaders in the north, you will know that they are not part of those Fulani that are destroying our nation, that are killing our people, that are maiming our people. Because it's not only Christians they are killing, no. They are killing everybody that comes their way. Once you don't believe in their thoughts,
this is not a religious war.
No,
a war against the church or Christians.
Those ones are not Muslim. They are not. They are animals, and they must be treated as one because they don't have the fear of God in their hearts. Right. They say they are claiming to fight for the Holy Prophet, jihad. Do they know the meaning of jihad? There are 4 types of jihad. I study comparative religion in the university. Very soon I'll conclude my PhD. So we study the 3 religions, not only Islam and Christianity, even African traditional religion. The 3 religions preaches peace. Islamic religion preaches peace. Believes in prophet, believes in...
The 3 religions preach peace.
Yes.
How come we are struggling for peace, not just in Nigeria, but across the world? The nations around the world
because
having issues
because
of war,
human frailty. They are using religion to oppress people. They are not believers of Islam. They are not believers of Christian. The extremists. You have it in both religions. So those ones claiming to be Muslims and killing people are not Muslims. Let them come, let us discuss.
All right.
And tell us from Holy Quran where the Holy Quran asks them to kill.
I wish I could let you go ahead with your analysis, because we are pressed for time. Bishop Adegbite, 2 more questions before I let you go. The issue of the agitations for a Yoruba nation. What are your thoughts on this, very quickly?
Yoruba nation is not the answer to our question, is not the answer to our problem in Nigeria today. The answer to our problem is to have good governance. If we come back to regions, among the Yoruba, you still have different tribes. You have the Jesas, you have the Oyos, you have the Akokos, and you have the Ondo people. So everyone will still come out with their own agenda. But what we need is to tolerate one another, is to be able to work together and be a better nation. That is all that we need. We need one another, really. You don't need to get a visa before you go to Kano. You don't need to get a visa before you come to Oyo. But we must sit down and restructure our nation and agree on the way we want to operate. In a situation where all the security chiefs belong to one set, come from one tribe, come from one area, is not going to work. That is
Bishop,
what we must agree.
because we're absolutely pressed for time, Bishop. We cannot bring you here without getting your message for Christians and Nigerians at this time. So maybe in 60 seconds or less, what's your message to Christians and Nigerians out there as we mark Easter?
After waiting for 40 days of Lent, the message is a message of hope. It's a message of peace. Christ is both message and the messenger. He's brought peace and immortality to the world. And I pray that Nigeria will be a better place after Easter. Nigeria will be a better secure environment. It's going to be well with Nigeria. It's going to be well with Nigerians. And it's going to be well with our government. It's going to be well with the followers. And the grace of God will be sufficient for all. Nigeria will remain one indivisible entity, but everyone must contribute his own quota. And by his grace, we will survive. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Shalom.
Thank you so much. Bishop Stephen Adegbite, the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Lagos State Chapter, I would like to thank you most kindly for coming through on the program tonight.
Thank you.
And that does it for us on this edition of Firecrackers. The show returns next week as we keep discussing issues of national interest. We keep having smart and global conversations. From Lagos, Nigeria, I am Kelly Egiga. Good evening.